Hi, welcome to Catching Up with Chronically Happy. Well, today I look even more warm than usual. Oh, my dang thing is popping down out of the way there. I have my heating vest on, and let me tell you, this heating vest, it has a hood, right, and it rolls up into the collar, so then I can have heat on my neck. I have my heating pad right here too. I'm a lover of heat. I say I'm in heat. Get it? I'm in heat. Because I'm in heat. I'm inside the heated vest. Anyway. I've got jokes. After last night's insomnia with the green thumbnail, I got 2 hours of sleep, I think. 3 maybe, if I'm lucky. I went to my brain MRI first thing. I'm so tired. It's only 4:45 p.m. and I've been up since 5:45 a.m. So I've been up for almost 12 hours after very, very small limited sleep. So what I accomplished was my brain MRI, and then I stopped and got some more flooring since I fell really bad last night on my knees in my room. I installed flooring. I went and bought 3 more packs of 4 puzzle for anti-fatigue flooring. So I spent the time, I gotta unplug my phone to do this. So I spent my time installing some of these squares throughout my entire bedroom to try and, except for Stormy's area. I couldn't get everything even with with that in the way. I couldn't get more under through here in an even fashion because of where they connect at. It just doesn't line up with where everything's positioned, so it is what it is. I did vacuum. I picked everything up off the floor and threw it on top of my bed, and then got my nice shoe rack here. Yeah, that's my room, guys. I feel so sleepy. Got my llama blankie to cuddle up into. Not that I need it with my heated vest. So I did the brain MRI, and then I went. My mom took me to pick up some more of that flooring. I picked up that flooring, and then I came home, and then I had my therapy appointment. And then after my therapy appointment, I was able to finish installing the floor, soft panels. And then an hour after that, I had my interview with a company in London, UK, about my primary immunodeficiency disease. They wanted to know all about it and how it affects me, how it's used, how it was prescribed, like just basically my story about my primary immunodeficiency disease that I do. Excuse me. I'm so tired. I'm not getting enough oxygen to my brain, causing the yawning. That's what it is. That's what yawning is lack of oxygen to the brain. That's why you yawn. The scientific analysis of that is because lack of oxygen is all it is. And so it's your body's way of being like, give me some extra oxygen. It's because my body is so fatigued, and I have enough oxygen going to places except for just not enough to my brain because I'm so tired from the lack of sleep. And then my neck started hurting really bad after I installed the floors, and so there went my entire afternoon of trying to get more done with my gift wrapping and other things. I was busy in appointments all day. It was like MRI at 7 a.m., 10 a.m. therapy, and that's an hour long. So 10 to 11 was therapy, and then 11 to 12 was my break, and then 12 to 1 was my interview about my disease. Which the pump is hanging up over there next to my dress. It's that gray thing. Hold on, let me get my finger right there. It's that gray thing right there, hanging up like that. That's my infusion pump for my subcutaneous infusions that I do every 2 weeks. And I did my last infusion on the 13th, and so I'm not due for my next one. Oh, wait, no. My infusion was the 6th. I'm like a week ahead of myself here, dude. I'm so tired. I'm thinking about it so already next week. All these appointments. These are all my appointments, man. Like, this is what it looks like to be a professional patient. Like, seriously. I have so much to do. That was today. It was tomorrow. I have Cairo. No, wait a minute. I don't have Cairo because I have my MRI instead. Oops, I almost knocked that out. Cairo is canceled. So I have MRI at 7 a.m. and then PT at 10. So, oh, and I do have Cairo on this day though, on the 14th. So Cairo, 7 a.m. So on Saturday, my appointments were at 7, 7, and 7. And it takes over a half hour to get from my house to these appointments. So that means 6:30. I have to leave by 6:15. So that means I need to wake up at like 5 something because I'm slow, I'm disabled. It takes me forever to move. My brain doesn't wake up right away in the morning. It's almost like this. I already got my MRI results back in my brain. I have some brain changes deep in my brain. And it worries me because I am not supposed to be getting those kind of changes yet. And 100% is because of my tethered cord and it's because of my concussion. It's gotta be. I had a brain MRI not too long ago, but this is within 1 year. Changes like this don't just don't freaking happen. I don't even know how to describe these medical terms. I can't pronounce them out loud. I've tried. I read my results to my mom and dad, and my mom's like, okay, so that means what? And I'm like, yeah, so here's what these certain terms mean. Because in order to read an MRI or any kind of labs or anything, you've got to Google every single word that they use because medical terminology is like a foreign language. You got to Google it all. You got to translate it. You got to translate what the F this medical jargon even means. Because every time I get any abnormal results, my doctor is like, looks good. Everything looks fine. It's the subtle things that doctors don't even worry about. It's because they don't know anything about it. So it's the practice of medicine. So if they don't know anything about it and everything looks normal, even though there's some incidental findings of some changes, it's nothing serious. The only thing that doctors are ever concerned about is like something huge and like something like a big brain tumor or some kind of cancer or something. That's the only thing that they're ever going to be like, warning, you need to come see us. But there's always an MRI report, and it's always good to go into your record and read that report yourself. If you rely on the doctor to tell you what the results are, you're not going to know a damn thing about anything. You're not. You're just going to believe the doctor, and for a lot of people, that's fine for them. But for me, that's not okay. It's not okay for me because I have a lot of problems, and every little change means something. And whether we know what that means or not doesn't matter. It means something. And it means that there's a change. And so, whatever that change is, time will reveal itself. It will always reveal itself in time. Or things will just fix itself and be fine. And I've had cysts in my brain before, and then they've disappeared. They've dissolved. So, as much as I've been worried in the past before, I also do not take any of this information that I look up very serious. Yes, it's in the back of my mind. It's something to think about. And if there's anything that I can do to correlate what my symptoms are, I can correlate to anything that I can get lab or imaging wise, I'm going to try and find it. I'm a researcher, I'm an analyst. I was an intelligence analyst in the Navy. I've been an analyst in other positions in my life. I know how to analyze data, scientific. I know how to read scientific and research and peer-reviewed medical jargon stuff. I can read it. I sometimes have to take a long time, and sometimes I have to get sidetracked and figure out exactly what certain things mean. But once I get a grasp of what it all means and what it all stands for, I'm like, okay. I can see why doctors don't tell their patients everything, because if they did, a lot of people would really flip out all the time. Believe me, I flipped out all the time before too. But that was at the very beginning of my medical journey, and I've learned a lot since then, and I've learned what to worry about, and I've learned about what to not worry about. And so my brain MRI findings, as they're not all 100% normal, but they're not really anything wrong either. But there's something going on deep inside the ventricles of my brain. There's changes. And I don't know what it means, but I think in time I will know. And there's just more specialists that I'm going to have to ask certain questions for. And a lot of doctors won't even have the answers. So it's not really worth stressing over. I'm really excited for tomorrow's neck MRI, because I'm excited to see how different things are. As far as my brain, though, I also have something that's called Chiari malformation, which all it is basically a physical description of what is going on in someone's brain. It's just a physical descriptive name that's been named, and it's been named Chiari malformation. And what it really means is the portion of your brain at the very bottom of your skull. Everybody has what's called cerebellar tonsils, and there's two of them. There's one on the left and on the right, and they own that part of the brain that controls your balance and coordination. That's what cerebellar tonsils do, is they coordinate balance and coordination. And sometimes if those are squished too much and there's just not enough room, they can cause a lot of problems for people, and they'll have to have brain surgery. At one point in my life, when I first learned about it, I wanted brain surgery, but I didn't have what warranted brain surgery because it wasn't really what was causing the problem. And I'm glad that I got rejected multiple times for surgeries in my life, because I've looked for all kinds of surgeries. I'm like, Surgery is always the answer for me. I'm like, well, everything else doesn't work, so let's just do surgery. I would rather just be a robot, honestly. Like, just replace all the things that are bad in me and just put it with artificial. I don't care. I want to be a robot. Let me be a robot. Let me have metal. It doesn't deteriorate like my bone. Damn doctor was refusing me to be a robot. Damn it, just let me be a robot. But honestly, no, I'm really glad that I did not go after the Chiari surgery because I really don't have what it takes to have that surgery. I'm not bad like some people are. Some people's symptoms are so severe with Chiari that I feel so bad for them. But I also wonder, is it really the Chiari or is it something else? Because there's so many things in the body that are connected. The anatomy is an amazing thing to study, and I'm telling you, the human biology and anatomy and how all the different systems work together in cohesion with each other to make your body do what it does automatically and do what you do every day is amazing. And a lot of people really have no interest in learning anything about that. A lot of people just really want to dissociate and not know what's going on with themselves medically. They would rather self medicate and ignore the problem. And unless it gets really bad, then they'll go. And then sometimes, but if it gets really bad, sometimes it's too late. And so, those people are usually the ones that do end up dying too early in life because, or being unalive because they didn't pay attention to their body because they were too busy trying to ignore it. And there's a balance between ignoring certain things and paying attention to other things. You don't want to pay attention to everything. It drives a person crazy, and I can attest to that. I am crazy. I'm crazy. Uh, my mom just asked me, "Did you get your nose ring back in?" I'm like, "No, it's in my nose right here." She came in here to give me my plugs. I took them out for my MRI this morning. Forgot to put them back in. I feel naked without my plugs. So let me put them back in while I sit here and talk to y'all. So anywho, yawn. I do got clothes on underneath this too, by the way. I'm not just like naked under this vest. If anybody is wondering. Excuse me. So, anyway, there's a fine balance between knowing too much and not enough about your body and what's going on with it. I've been kind of forced to learn about what's wrong with me, and now I'm the expert, and I'm a resident expert in all my diseases because I know what they're like. Like, if I could just, get a doctorate in just like one research paper or something, like that'd be amazing. That'd be so amazing. I would love to be a researcher so I could get answers for the medical community. I've been such a guinea pig my entire life of what you should and shouldn't do. And I can tell you shouldn't ignore things or not go undiagnosed your entire life for a lot of things. I was also born with something called spina bifida occulta, also hidden. Occulta means hidden. And right now I have what's called tethered cord. And so there's not really any neurosurgeons that are going to want to like do exploratory surgery to figure out where you're tethered at, unless the doctor knows exactly what they're doing, and that's all they do. And there's only 2 of those specialists in the United States. One's in Rhode Island, and the other one is actually in my state, and I'm trying to get to that neurosurgeon. I have been working nonstop at writing the VA messages one of them in, I think. I'm not sitting in there very good, but it's in there. There we go. Yeah, that's there. Look how red my ear got just by messing with it. I'm so damn sensitive. I'm such a sensitive person. What can I say? Look how elasticy my skin is. Look at that. I'm gonna pull it so far away. My skin's very elastic and it stretches so much. I have such a weird shaped face right now. I have an indent right there. My face shape is changing. Who knows why? I don't. Whatever's going on in my brain, maybe. Who knows? Maybe it's the lack of sleep, but these bags. I mean, look, when I squint my eyes, I have so many wrinkles. Look at all these wrinkles. So I look old as F when I actually make myself look wrinkly. But at least my skin is super soft. My skin is actually softer than the average person. Like when you go to touch it, it feels like velvet. It's so soft. I have very, very soft skin. It used to be all my male counterpart shipmates' kryptonite on their 6-month deployments. They'd be like, Weathers, don't touch me. I'd be like, come, hey, feel my hand. And they'd be like, oh, don't touch me. I'm married. I'm like, I don't mean anything by it. I'm a tease. It's innocent flirting. It's nothing serial. I don't want you in that way. You know, just being friendly. That's all it is, being friendly. Because I was the only girl in my shop, and so the guys would send me to all the different departments so I could get all the tools and all the things, because I made friends with that. That's the one thing I learned from my dad from being in the service. I'm third generation. My grandfather, my father, and I, all three were all in the Navy. Let me do some story time and pictures. Let me go show you some pictures. Check this stuff out. So, this was my grandfather. That was my daddy in the Navy. And then that was me in the Navy. So we got 3 generations right there. That was me at 20. I don't look much different except for these big old bags under my eyes. So anyway, yeah, that's my little story time. So, catching up with Chronically Happy. So today's schedule was, like I said, MRI, then I did this floor, then I did that, I did so much messaging to the VA. My back started burning, my neck hurt, my nerve pain in my neck was just killing me. And so I'm finally starting to get that to calm down, just by being on heat and being in bed, laying down. Got my positive vibes. Positive vibes. So yeah, did that, then I did the, I'm repeating myself, I'm just trying to catch up, like, brain fog is a biatch. I know what I did today. I don't know where I was going to go with the story. This is where, you know, writing my scripts would be handy, but, you know, I like to just be real and be myself, and I get around to it. I circle back around to things. Itchy. I just need to catch up on some of my socializing on my social media. I stayed off of it most of the time today. Except for all the work I did on my PC with my interview and then my therapy session, both being online, which is nice. I don't have to drive anywhere. Oh gosh, excuse me, guys. I am just exhausted from the no sleep last night. This is a day in the life of disabled chronic illness. This is what I do. I'm a professional patient. I deal with paperwork and insurance and oh my gosh, the things that have gone wrong today too. So pissed. So pissed off. So this was just a couple days ago. This will lead me to today's pissed off story too. So there's two stories about pissed off. It's about Amazon. I placed an order for silicone alphabet beads, and it said comes in 6 colors, and they're all in pastel colors. You know what I get? All white letters. All silicone white letters. And I'm like, what the F? So I contacted the Amazon, and I don't think I disputed things the right way, so I'm going to have to go back and do that again. So yeah, they sent me the wrong colors. They sent me what I did not want, and I kind of want to send them back or keep them and have them send me the right thing. Some companies will do that. Some want them to send it back, and I've never once sent anything back. I usually just end up keeping it and suffering and just like ordering more. But right now I can't afford that. I cannot afford to do that. So then my computer chair finally comes today. I was so excited. I opened the box. It's the wrong freaking chair. Wrong color, wrong model. Oh my gosh, I've been doing so much on my computer, and my neck and my back hurt so bad because all I have is an exercise ball to sit on. I've never had an office chair. I've never bought a good gaming or an office chair, ever. My dad gave me his old one, and it is used to F, and it hurts, and I can't sit in that thing anymore, so it just needs to be getting rid of. And that is just sitting in my storage unit waiting to go to the dump or find some soul that is just like poor and just, doesn't care if it's old and used and just want to have a chair. I know people like that. They'll take anything. If it's functional, and it is still functional, it's not what I can use anymore. The pleather's also all peeling off. It's not looking very nice. I used it as my garage chair for like last year until I changed it to my rocking chair, camp chair. It's way more comfortable. So now, contacted the seller because it's not an Amazon seller, so Amazon doesn't offer the refund. So I contacted the seller, but I guess immediately they had contacted me at 12:28 a.m., which I never received the message until after I started to try and do the dispute about the wrong item. Well, they told me, hey, we sent you the wrong product. There was a problem within the blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. So your options are you can refuse. So when we sent the information to the FedEx dispatcher to not deliver it, and they did anyways. And so that option is not valid. Their other option to solve it was like just when they come to deliver it, refuse the delivery and don't accept it. Well, they left it at the door, and I don't even know what time they delivered it. So, well, that option's out the window. Third option is to keep it, and they will send me $20 as compensation for the mix-up. Which, I mean, it was really kind of convincing. I'm like, I kind of would love to have the $20, but it's the wrong model chair. It's not breathable material. It's like a pleather material. I wanted the cloth. I wanted it green, so it matched my room. Mainly, I wanted it to match my room. I've always wanted to have a pretty cool colored chair. I mostly either wanted pink and white or green, and the other option was this pretty blue color. I'm like, I would take the blue or the green, but this black one, are you freaking serious? It's the only color I don't want. And it's like a bigger, wider size for heavier people up to like 330 pounds. I'm like, I am not, that is 200 pounds more than I even need. And look at the space I have. I don't have room for a fat A computer chair right there. My exercise ball. I can't even really sit on my exercise ball correctly. I have fallen on my tailbone, which made me bulge 5 discs in my back because the ball had moved away from me when I went to sit down full weight, and that was a year ago. And that bulged 5 discs in my back, and that has made my pain like consistently nonstop hurt for over a year. And I progressively have gotten worse with my tethered spinal cord because now all my muscles are completely weak from being malfunctioning for over a year on top of everything else. My symptoms have got worse. I've been in pain. My bowel and bladder don't function correctly. My intestines are trying to adhere to my abdominal wall, and thanks for having my physical therapy. Otherwise, I wouldn't be having, or I'd be having those same issues still. But thank goodness I have physical therapy doing exercises to help me with my intestines not sticking to my abdominal wall. So I'm doing all the right things. I'm just I'm just waiting on the VA. I'm waiting on the VA. Then I had to fix a stupid issue with them. I requested a medication on December 9th. The pharmacy still hasn't processed it or is even showing that it is pending. It's like they didn't even get the order or something. I did finally read today on the website, ordered 2 weeks in advance. So, well, I'm like, well, if I want my Xanax and my other controlled narcotics, I better order them now because we're not going to get here on time otherwise. So I requested those refills today. But there was a problem with trying to order my Adderall. I could get my 2 anxiety meds, but I couldn't refill my Adderall. Are you kidding me? It's the same doctor it's my medication manager. And for whatever reason, the VA is making the VA authorize the prescription other than the mental health provider that is authorized to prescribe to me. He's my prescriber, not the VA. So this better not be a problem moving forward every single month because I'm about to change VA doctors, hopefully, to a Ben doctor. So I can start working up towards surgery. I'm going to have that Ben VA doctor order my MRIs for me. And I'm going to work with that neurosurgeon's office to see what they need. So I'm going to do all the workups with Ben. I'm not even going to deal with my Washington VA doctor with any of the workup because this Bend neurosurgeon will not operate on anybody outside of Bend, Oregon. So I'm going to pretend like I'm living there for 6 months with the VA, and I'm staying with family for 6 months to a year, and then I'm moving back to Kennewick, Washington. But my mailing address is still here at my parents' house in Oregon, so please never change this mailing address. I get mail stolen at my Washington address. Stolen there. That's because I don't go up there very often. It's my friend's address. So I know who lives there. I'm not just using some random address. I actually know I have friends that live there. But it just helps ensure that I am able to keep my VA doctors in Washington and be able to get my community care in Oregon. It is what works for me. It is the loopholes that I have to deal with in order to get the care that I need, because the Portland VA does not work with me. The doctors here are not cool. So I will not, and I absolutely refuse to use any of the VA that is closest to me, except for when I need to have blood drawn. I will go get my blood drawn by them, and that is about it. And that is all I allow the VA to do here in my local area. And other than that, all of my stuff goes through Washington, and everything is done correctly to the T. Everything is done great. I have everybody's extension on speed dial. If I have a problem with anything, I can just call them up without having to go to a call center and get information mixed up. Like at the Salem Portland VA, that happens all the time. You don't get the right person, you don't get the same person, they don't know who you are. Yeah, my Washington VA community care team members that deal with my referrals to my specialists, they all know me by name. I talk to them on the phone every few months just to update my authorizations and let them know what's going on. And if I have any issues, I ask them questions, how I need to do something, and then they tell me what I need to do. And it's easy. It's nice. It's like the providers that I see in my local area, they're like, wow, that was fast. We're not used to the VA being that fast. I'm like, that's why I use the Washington VA. That's because they're fast and they're efficient. They know how to do their jobs. Not like these idiots in Oregon. I'm scared to go to the Bend VA. I'm so worried about how they're gonna treat me. And if they don't treat me good, then I'm gonna have to go back to square one and figure out what else to do. But I hope I can get a good VA doctor in Bend, and I hope there's one available so I can get seen, and I can get seen relatively soon, and hopefully I can have surgery done by summertime. That is my goal. But it takes time. Oh my gosh, look at this bruise. This is what happened from my fall yesterday. That was yesterday's fall. How does this side look? That side looks fine compared to that side. Dang, I took a bet. It's always the left side, yo. There's my psoriasis little patch. Little psoriasis. So yeah, that's catching up with me. It's been my day. Nothing seems to go right with the VA, with messaging me on time. Pharmacy is slow as F. And it's all because of this new VA system. They're using this system on this thing called Cerna system. It's supposed to be easier and work better than the old online VA, My Healthy Vet. Which honestly, My Healthy Vet works so much better than My VA Health. But there's only like a select few VAs that are using My VA Health. And it's back and forth between we're going to use My Healthy Vet, go back to that, or we're going to continue with My VA Health. It's because My VA Health has been really hard for people to learn and to work with. And it's just not working efficiently. I think it's because people aren't getting their messages as they should be or something in a timely manner. The Cerner server is slow. They spent billions on this freaking change to get every VA system hooked up to this Cerner server. There's too many people to be hooked up on this server. They they put billions into a system that failed, and now the VA is trying to backtrack on it and say no, we shouldn't be using this. It's messed people up. It's killed veterans. It's killed veterans. Hold on a sec. I had a nose itch. So yeah, the VA system, the new My VA Health has killed veterans because they weren't getting the right medication. Not all the information transferred over from my Healthy Vet to my VA Health. It's been a nightmare. My old psychiatrist from the VA, like 2 3 years ago, right before she retired, she was like one of the biggest well-known psychiatrists within all the VAs throughout the United States. Like this lady was like top notch, like best psychiatrist, and she was very anti-drug. I spent a good 6 to 9 months having to convince her to give me Adderall, and I was one of two patients she would prescribe it for. She wouldn't prescribe it to anybody else. I was one of the two. She wouldn't allow it otherwise. She was very anti-drug everything, unless it's SSRIs. I mean, then yeah, we'll give you lots of SSRIs that cause way more symptoms and way more problems with people and causes people to want to unalive themselves a lot more than, you know, the medications that were being prescribed to me. Um, and I've been on SSRIs and none of them helped me. And so I've been through the gambit of them, and every time my doctors try to bring it up because I'm like, my anxiety is getting bad again, they're like, let's put you on an SSRI. What about a mood stabilizer? What about an antipsychotic? I'm like, stay the F away from me with all those drugs. No. I do not want to be a sheep zombie that can't function. That's what those meds do to people. They don't allow you to function. I'm looking at my friend in Minnesota who got back from in a hospital stay and all the meds that they had her on and then they're weaning her off of. She is not the same lady, man. She has no personality again. She's like a zombie. My old neighbor in Washington that I lived next to, when I met him, he was on some mood stabilizers of some sort. He was a zombie. And then now seeing my other friend being a zombie like that, he got off those meds, and man, his personality came out. He did need to be on some medication, but he was on the wrong stuff, man. He was on the wrong meds. I don't know how long it takes for people to get on the right kind of meds when they need them. Because some people do. Some people absolutely need them. I absolutely refuse them. They don't work for me. I am too empathetic. I am too sensitive to meds. I want to be myself. And even to an extent, I don't even like taking my anxiety pills to an extent because I feel like they also too make me a zombie at times. But they do the job that they need to do to slow down my nervous system when I have a mast cell flare. So mast cell activation syndrome is supposedly a milder form of mastocytosis, which is a long known disease, but medicine is just finding out that there's such thing as mast cell activation disease. It's not full blown mastocytosis, but it might as well be. It's close enough. It's more like a spectrum. I think they just need to get rid of I mean, a lot of these diagnoses are more of a spectrum, just like my Ehlers-Danlos syndrome is really a big spectrum. Just like they got rid of Asperger's and consider autism spectrum disorder, ASD. I'm like, why? Asperger's was a fine name for it. Some people reject the autism diagnosis because it's got stigma attached to it. For me, none of these things are stigmatized. I don't care. They're just words. They're just descriptive words of what people have, and it just depends on what people identify as. And, you know, for me, some of the stuff it doesn't matter. Some of it does. But the mental health stuff, the things that matter to me that are in my record are from my doctors from when they fired me because they were saying I have psychosomatic delusion disorder, when really it's my physical symptoms are causing my mental state to go entirely crazy. There's something called mast cell rage. Is because the mast cells in your body go crazy and then they ramp your central nervous system up. And so then it's almost like a PTSD trigger. It's a trigger. It's an internal trigger of your internal body's shutting off your logical brain. Mast cells trigger your brain to turn off. And so you don't have access to your frontal lobe where you can make reasonable decisions and, you know, think about things. That shut off. Mast cell activation disease causes survival instincts of your central nervous system to be ramped up. And so the only thing that causes, or there's such thing as called mast cell stabilizers, and that is what one of my medications does. It's called ketotifen, and it is a mast cell stabilizer, so it helps the mast cells to kind of stop being so jittery and shaky, calm down a little bit, but it doesn't 100% prevent it because I have too many mast cell triggers. Mast cell triggers involve food, stress, emotional states can cause a flare of mast cell activation symptoms. Environmental triggers, viruses, sickness. I mean, any of these things, any little thing can set off your mast cell activation disease. It can decide to go on overload and you react to everything. I was in mild anaphylactic shock where it wasn't as severe as I went to the ER. I went to the ER and I felt like my airway was closing. I could barely breathe. My face was so swollen. My tongue was swollen. You couldn't see the back of my mouth. It's barely open now, but you can barely see back there. I get swollen tongue really easy from all my mast cell triggers, and it's mostly food. There's still small ingredients here and there that just overload my body, and my body's like, nope, you're done, B word. You're done, beesh. You're done, beesh. So there's all these things that are fighting going on inside me. Another mast cell stabilizer is cromolyn. It's a liquid, and you have to drink it like a half hour before every meal. And then you have to wait 2 hours after your last dose of cromolyn to be able to do your next dose. So you're constantly around the clock. You're trying to time your cromolyn to the time that you eat, but you have to time it within a certain hour time frames. Otherwise, you're not going to get the 4 doses a day. So it was hard. I did it for 2 years straight, guys. I tried so hard to do it right. I had and you have to use distilled water. So you know how much distilled water costs and how much distilled water I went through because of cromolyn. It can only be mixed with cromolyn. And you drink an 8-ounce glass of water of cromolyn mixed in with distilled water. I used to carry around a water bottle with my tubes of cromolyn attached by a hair tie on the outside of the water bottle. and then I'd have my distilled water next to me to fill my water bottle up, and then pour my ampules in, and then have whatever meal. Yeah. I couldn't deal. I did it for 2 years, and I did it religiously. And even with my busy doctor schedule, on my traveling, it was a pain in the butt having to have distilled water everywhere I went. Trying to fly with distilled, I couldn't fly with distilled water, so I had to like have a very small quantity. But then when I land, I have to go to the store immediately and buy distilled water. Stupid, man. So that mast cell stabilizer wasn't very good. So, I mean, those are really the two mainstay treatments for mast cell activation disease besides avoid your triggers. How can you avoid your triggers when you have like 60 out of 90 triggers? Between trees, molds, grasses, going to pollinate, molds, grasses, weeds, trees, and foods. I have like 30 different foods I'm allergic to. Plus, I have celiac disease, so I can't have gluten either. So I have really disordered eating. I can't eat regular food all the time. I can't, so this is where it really affects my interpersonal relationships with people. Holidays are hard on me. Meal planning sucks, especially when you're not involved in meal planning, and then people don't accommodate me, and then I'm not included in the meal. And then, Thanksgiving and holidays, you're supposed to be included. You're all eating together. You're eating the same food together. It's like potluck. You all eat the same food. But for me, I kind of have to be like the black sheep and have my own food. All the other food's not, it makes me feel like I'm stuck up, like, your food's not good enough for me. I can't, I'm not going to eat it. I get offered food from people all the time. People are like, hey, you want this? You want some of this? I'm like, no, thank you. I can't eat that. There's black gluten in it. I'm constantly having to educate people what gluten is, and it gets kind of annoying after a while. It just depends on my mood for the day. So I don't really feel like I'm in an explanatory mood some days. So I'm just like, no, thank you. I'm just not hungry. I'm fine. I got my own food. That's usually my excuse. I try to be polite about it because people don't know unless I tell them. But people forget all the time. I have friends that kept offering me gluten after they knew for years that I've had celiac disease. I still have people offering me stuff that have known I've been celiac for so long. I'm like, no, dude, that's gluten. That's gluten? Yeah, dude. People are so uneducated. But I was too before I was diseased, so I don't blame y'all. I don't blame people for not knowing. I didn't know before I had celiac disease. I had no idea what the hell gluten was. So I don't hold it against people, and I try not to hold it against people for not accommodating me and my food allergies, because it's a lot. I have a hard time remembering everything I'm allergic to. Like, I just recently forgot that I'm allergic to yellow squash. And I was eating some squash lately, and I'm like, oh man, no wonder I was feeling like crap and I was getting all swollen. I try all the time to reintroduce food, whether it's on purpose or accident, that's another story, but I can't eat whatever I want. I don't enjoy eating food anymore. I am not a foodie. I never will be a foodie again. I used to love food, but I don't now. I actually hate food. I hate food for the way it makes me feel. Every time I eat food, I pretty much, I'm asleep. I eat food, I fall asleep. I can't stay awake to digest food. My body is too weak to digest food and function and walk around and be alive. The only way I can digest food is if I'm sleeping. And that's just the way my body works. I have to fast the entire day and really not eat all day long and starve myself basically most of the day. And then I am too tired to prep any food or cook or anything, so then I end up not taking very good care of myself. I eat processed food that's not good for me, and it doesn't make me feel good, doesn't make me feel any better, but at least it's something in my stomach, so I feel like it's better than nothing. Processed or not, it's better than nothing. But yeah, it's probably not helping my diseases any. I need to eat fresh ingredients and better things for me. Alright, I think it's time to take my other portion of a pill. Oh my god. How is that? How do I even take that, dude? That's so stupid. These pills are so flippin' small, dude. Like, here's 2 different pills. Okay, hopefully they don't fall out. Do you see them? Yeah, there's one down here, and then there's one like in pieces over there. Yeah. I'm supposed to break my pill into 4 little pieces. Dude. What is this garbage? That's not even like anything. Not even like, that's not even a quarter of a pill. Like, this is a quarter, and then all I got out of that. I mean, I might as well just take all of this. And hopefully it don't put me in withdrawal because it's too much. Oh yeah, sublingual. Gotta put them under my tongue. I don't know how to keep this something small under my tongue. This is stupid. Now I need to load up for tomorrow so I can take the right pills. Because I can't take my pain patch until tomorrow. Tomorrow morning's pill. I mean, at least this is a nice little quarter. That goes in my little pill container, so I can take it in the morning when I wake up. In fact, I need to take all my pills. There's a big gap in my bottom of my teeth. That pill keeps wanting to come through that. Oh, did I take my last one today? Oh no. Guess I don't got one for tomorrow. Well, there's go to my POTS medication. POTS is postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. POTS. Postural, which means position. Orthostatic means in one place. So, position in one place. Tachycardia, racing heart syndrome. So depending on the posture, when I switch between, well, I think orthostatic means movement actually. So when I move my posture, my heart races. In fact, you know what? I'm actually going to take my evening dose of this. I never take my evening dose. But maybe this is what my body needs. Maybe I need to start taking it twice a day like prescribed. I just usually don't because I don't like taking pills 2 times a day. I always forget, and I usually it's like take it at the same time every day, and I don't do the same thing every day, so that's why it was hard with my Cromlin. I had a weird schedule. I didn't do the same thing all the time, and it was hard for me to time it. I don't know what time is the appropriate time, so it just makes it hard, man. You don't know what to do. So I'm going to actually take my evening dose for once. I got my next drink ready. Fizzy, fizzy, fizzy. That one was a little flat from earlier, and this one's all fizzy. I love my fizzy. I love my fizzy water. When you drink fizzy water, that's what you gotta do. That's a... No, you don't. That's just a new thing I just made up just now. So, I think I am going to do that from now on when I am talking with my friends, though, just to make them laugh. They're going to be like, what are you doing? I'm like, this is what you do when you have fizzy water. You're like... That's how to drink fizzy water. Alright, so I got my Adderall in the morning. I got that pill, my Ketotifen. So I got Adderall, my Ketotifen, and then my Plaquenil, which is an RA lupus medication, because I have RA and lupus. So this is my diagnostic list. I have EDS, Hashimoto's thyroiditis, I have celiac disease, I have RA, I have lupus, primary immunodeficiency disease of IgG subclass 2 particularly. That's 6. Chiari malformation. I was born with spina bifida. I have ADHD. I'm also on the spectrum. So that's 10 diagnoses so far. Let's see. The other ones I don't really accept. I do accept anxiety. I accept PTSD. I do not accept bipolar. I'm not bipolar. My psychiatrist and my psychotherapist that I do therapy with, they both don't agree with that diagnosis either. It's just, they got thrown in my record because the VA doctors just were getting tired of me, and they were just throwing diagnoses at me left and right that they weren't even taking the time to even get to know me. And they just, that's the VA. They don't treat their patients right. I have been fired or have fired like 4 or 5 VA doctors. My current one, I had like 2 or 3 appointments with her, and she seems fine to me because she does all my referrals, and that's all I need her for. My primary care physician is through Medicare, and had I had Medicare all along, things would have been a lot easier to diagnose, a lot faster. But I didn't have the money for all the copays back then either. I didn't have my 100% VA disability either. So it's been a journey, yo. It's been a journey getting all these diagnoses. I don't even know did I mention the mast cell on top of those 10 things I said. Mast cell and the POTS and the... I lose track, man. I can't keep track of all my diagnoses. When they try to go over my allergy list, I'm like, basically, no antibiotics, no NSAIDs, no sulfas, no SSRIs, no statins, no Synthroid, no synthetic thyroid medication. It doesn't work on me. But the natural one does. It just works too good. Every time I supplement vitamins, I take the recommended dose each day, and I become toxic in them. My body absorbs things too well. And whether it goes or stays in my system is one thing. Sometimes it depends on the shelf life and how long things that are sustained release in me, they don't work. Sustained release don't work in me. My body will absorb it all at once as if it was an instant release. And so it's very dangerous for me to take anything that's sustained release or takes time to get into your body or into your system. Those kind of medications my body does not like. anything that has to take anything for a long period of time, my body becomes like, nah, we don't like that. So I'm just kind of waiting and seeing how long I can take all the meds that I'm currently on without having any issues. But I've been having issues all along, so I don't know. I'm about to start some new meds, and I'm kind of scared. I don't know, because I'm about to be on some chemotherapy drugs. I'm about to be on something called Gleevec. I've been procrastinating on going online and setting up my profile. Otherwise, I would have that medication sent to me by now. I'm kind of nervous. I kind of want to know more information about it first. I jumped into the pain patch a little fast, but if I wouldn't have, I didn't even want to take my Plaquenil, my RA drugs. I was scared to take those because of all the warnings and the side effects. I'm a very high stroke risk, and that makes me very nervous because my red blood cells, I don't have enough of them. I'm anemic. My red blood cells that I do have, though, are large in shape, and so it makes me worried that since I have larger red blood cells than normal, than average, I guess, not normal. My normal is large. My blood cells are larger in shape, and their variation in shape is quite vast. So since my blood is so mutated, it makes me worry about strokes, and especially with medications, with that being a risk factor and a side effect of some of them. It makes me worried because my blood is already kind of thick. I have thick blood because the cells are too large, but I just don't have very much blood. I don't have much blood to lose. So, yeah. Anyway, this is just doing a checkup with Chronically Happy. Thank you for sticking around if you've stuck around for the whole hour. I didn't think I was going to get into all of this, but it was more of a free introduction of myself to y'all. If anybody's new or anybody finding me for the first time, or anybody that has watched me for some time but didn't see some of my earlier videos, I've got a lot of medical problems. This is what invisible illness looks like. Today, I came into the MRI in a wheelchair. Yes, I can walk. Oh gosh, ow, that hurts. Oh, my neck is messed up too. But I already knew that. I purposely left my neck not adjusted on Wednesday because of my MRI coming up tomorrow. I can't wait to see what we're going to find and not find. I can't wait to see how bulging I am now. Maybe it'll be pressing on the nerve roots. Maybe I'll aggravate it enough so it does press on the nerve roots in the morning. Maybe I'll just like wake up super early and like do a whole bunch of exercises and sit at the computer for a long time and make it burn and make it hurt. And then go get my MRI. The things I do to try and get the results I want to see. Because I just want some doctors, I just want doctors to take me seriously. When things are not seen on MRI, and mine never are, it is so hard to find a doctor to believe you. But I 100% know that is my spinal cord that's messed up, man. It's all the same symptoms. And there's nothing that's going to change my mind until after I get that surgery. Because after that first surgery, I just want to cry because I remember waking up from surgery and being like, no pain. My constant pain of in here, my neck and in my shoulder and stuff. It was gone for the first time in like 12 years I was in pain. It took one surgery and it was gone. immediately. I woke up so happy. I was devastated when I retethered 3 months later. The symptoms didn't get bad though, not until I fell again. Not until I bulged more discs, not until my middle back shows a cord deformity in my thoracic region, right where everything attaches with the arms in the middle of the back. You can also look it up. It's called thoracic 4 syndrome, T4 syndrome. Thoracic 4, that's the vertebra, thoracic. Cervical is your neck, and lumbar is your lower back. And then you also have your SI joints in your butt, lower back. And then you also got your coccyx bone, your tail. And so, yeah. I'm going to get my neck MRI tomorrow, and then I'm going to try and get up to OHSU in Portland to go get those x-rays of my pelvic bone area to see if I cracked anything in all of my falls lately. And then I'm going to go after my MRIs with the doctor in Bend and work up for neurosurgeon surgery. I'll have the MRI done in my thoracic and my lower lumbar. I might have to get another doctor to order the thoracic. I'm going to try and, I think, get Dr. Guggenheim in January to order it. I want her to order the MRI for my thoracic. And then I want the VA doctor to take care of my ordering the right MRI for the neurosurgeon for tethered cord. If she even wants me to do it. But she probably will. She just wants to make sure she knows where to operate at. But I think I'm tethered in a different spot. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I got quite a bit of scar tissue in a lot of places, so I've been having a lot of arm pain. I get a lot of numbness and tingling down my arms, in my neck area, across my shoulders, down my spine, down my legs. I get pinpricks in my feet at times. I get pinpricks. I get dual achy pain in my feet. I get pain in my knees, especially since I fell on them again. I woke up with the biggest lymph nodes swollen. I have no white blood cells right now. My white blood cell count is down, so I have to wear a mask everywhere I go right now. I'm really contemplating wearing a mask on Saturday. I'm really scared of going to this Christmas party and contacting some kind of virus because of who they're exposed to and if they're carriers of anything. And I'm just kind of worried about it, you know. I just don't know what to do. Except for I want to make new friends, and I don't like wearing a mask, man. But I gotta protect myself a little bit. I have to make sure not to touch my face a lot. I'll try my best not to get COVID. I can't get COVID right now, man. I got too many doctor appointments coming up, and I can't get sick like that again. At least right now. I have that party to look forward to. Tomorrow, a lot of appointments. And I'm going to get off here and post this. It's a long enough video. I love you all. Thank you for listening. Thank you for checking in with Chronically Happy. I am chronically happy to be alive despite my illnesses. Despite my chronic illness, my chronic happiness is still there. Underneath it all, even when you see me in those late night unwind with me videos and seeing me in pain, and then seeing me functional, and then seeing me in this stage, whatever this is, tired, barely functional, but very let me explain things to you. I love you all. Thank you again. And please like and subscribe if you want to know more about me and see more content. I'm going to be doing some gift wrapping in the next few days. I'm still going to try and do that cost analysis of all my crafting beads and Black Friday deals I got. So be on the lookout for my future series and videos. Bye. Peace out.